Joining us now is Barnaby Joyce. Great to have you here, Barnaby.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, lots happening. Let's kick off with Peter Dutton's clash with the ABC. So we'll just have a quick look at what happened earlier.
Oh.
How do you know the vast majority of the public in Collie support?
Well, how do you know that they don't?
Well, I have spoken to a number of them. I haven't seen you spoken to a single member of the public, not just the show.
No, look, I understand the position of the ABC. The ABC has an ideological position against that. That's an issue for you. I don't really care. I'm not interested in the politics at the ABC. You can all be advocates and play your games.
Now, Barnaby, I love that. I love Pierre Poilievre, and before that, Trump. You've got these conservative leaders, you've done it all your career, who stand up to journalists, particularly the left-wingers. Tell us, what did you think?
I want to know why we're paying $1.1 billion a year to an organisation that wants to talk to about 3% of Australia. That's what annoys me. I don't mind them having rabid lefties. Let's knock yourself out. You know, I used to listen to Philip Adams myself. I thought he was very erudite. Probably had a really good production team. But where was the rabid right-wing person? Why is it that only one section of Australia gets taxpayers'
Sorry, you're
dollars?
Suggesting Patricia Karvelas is not a rabid right-winger? I'm shocked, Barnaby.
I know PK quite well. I think even PK would admit that she's probably from the left. But who is? Name me the one that was closest was on Radio National, Between the Lines, with Switzer.
Tom Switzer.
Tom
Yes,
Switzer.
absolutely.
Now, Tom would have been a right-winger. He's gone. So name me in this $1.1 billion a year organisation, one right-winger.
OK, but what's the coalition going to do about it? For 10 years in office, you've never done anything about it. Why are you not going to the election and saying we're going to put the ABC on a Netflix subscription model? We're going to give the staff there their own shares. They can do whatever. It will be on free market principles. Net subscribers will go to. You can do as rabid as you want. If you attract the viewers, you will be successful.
OK, well, there's a couple of things. You might find that the owners of this masthead get worried if we start saying we're going to have another advertiser in the marketplace. They don't particularly like that idea because they say it drags eyeballs away. If the ABC actually got their act together and were competent, that could be an issue. But I think you're right in saying that people have this fear. We don't want to fight the ABC or the AMA when we go to an election. When you really should be fighting both. And that's a discussion, I think, the Expenditure Review Committee, which determines all funding, will, as they always do, regardless, will have it in regard, how this goes forward. But the ABC should just take their own future into their own hands and realise that what they're going to do is not be reporters, but be agents provocateurs, actually go to doorstops with their own political views, which manifestly are being expressed in the questions they ask, rather than looking for information and expressing their views, then they're going to not just collect the ire of politicians, but of a whole section of Australia. They say, well, you should be asking for information, not participating in the debate. If you want to participate in the debate, put your name on a ballot paper and get yourself into politics. That's where you do it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we just look at the last, say, year or so of behaviour by the ABC and also their ratings, Radio National ratings in the toilet. But we've seen everything from all of the scandals around Four Corners to the camping out in the driveway with eco-activists of the Woodside Petroleum CEO in WA. The Morrison government increased their budget, which I found, pretty strange. It seems like, at a top management level, there are so many issues here that the place really needs a clean out.
And you look at things that are there at the moment, and of course there's something I've been banging on about, the intermittent power basically swindle, this massive swindle on the Australian taxpayer, which is just there glaring at you, like, we are ripping you off, yet the ABC won't go anywhere near it. And you say, mate, you've got an organisation, you've got this cabal of billionaires wanting to create a vital part of your life, which is electricity, and make it their product that you have to buy at their price and you don't believe it's worth investigating. Oh, no, it's denier. I believe in intermittent power. I mean, it's like they had this... And then the Heston Russell issue, where Heston Russell came out and said, what you put out there was just a lie. He said, I was there, I've got my body camera on it. There was one shot fired, it was a warning shot. And you've got me firing 7 shots at
deliberately, deceptively editing.
But again, Barnaby, what will the
that.
coalition take to the next election that it hasn't taken that it hasn't done before?
I think as you know, Rowan, I cannot speak on behalf of a cabinet. I have to take my views to a cabinet.
Yes.
I think.
What views will you be taking?
My view is that $1.1 billion a year is an awful lot of money.
What would you like to see the coalition?
I would say the first
forward?
thing is for the ABC, you have to show. I want to see. Well, not at the same time as this, but I want to see their version of The Outsiders on the ABC.
Oh, please do it. Please do it. I'd love to see it. And they can come on at the same time as us. No problem. We'll slam them.
But they don't. They never will. Yeah. And that's because you're in this. There's two types of ABCs. There's regional ABC, which I think does a good job, and then there's the Palace of Ultimo. Is Ultimo just down the road here? The Palace of Ultimo, which they represent everything they can see. Annandale, Ashfield,
Rita.
Well, I'm interested in your thoughts about Anthony Albanese's Cliffside purchase.
It was just pure genius. It was
The
pure
timing's
genius.
beautiful. What are the Labor MPs, ministers saying to you privately? They're all publicly backing the PM, naturally. What are they saying privately, and what are your thoughts?
Down to Kokomo. The Beach Boy. Oh, it is so splendid. It is just like we couldn't have come up with that tactic. It was genius. But the biggest issue here is really for the people of Grainler, who he has made a clear statement, a $4.3 million statement that he does not want to stay in Grainler. And the people of Grainler will be saying, well, if that's the case, then roll your swag, pack your bongo, and go. Just go. Bye-bye. Enjoy. As I've said on the weekend in the media, if I did that in New England, if I bought a $4.3 million house at, I don't know, the Central Coast, I'd be gone. That'd be the end. You can say, you don't have to bother turning up to the election, mate. And people of New England are just going to hand you your backside on a plate. You're gone.
But doesn't this also make things a lot more difficult for people like, not just in Grainler, but people like Tanya Plibersek in Sydney, where things are very marginal, where housing is the number one thing everybody talks about in Sydney? This would seem to me a real gift, actually, for the Greens. But does the coalition have a plan to capitalise on this too?
It's just so brilliant. It's just so brilliant, Jones. We can't. It's like someone has just gone out and sort of sat in a dog turd. You can't say anything more about it. You just have to sit back and go, well, whatever.
It's Tories. This is a pretty Tory house.
It's just so brilliant. There's nothing more you can add to it. It can't get any better for us. It is just pure genius. And I really worry about, I imagine people like Cameron Milner and stuff like that, they'll be sitting back, the tacticians in the Labor Party going, what pill are you on?
Well, the great thing is, Barnaby, I know the area.
That?
I know the area very well, and where he's bought on the cliff is facing south down towards Sydney. Had he bought on the next beach up facing north, he'd have had a perfect view up towards Newcastle and the windmills. And I think so. So not only did he insult Marrickville, he insulted the people up north by not. I don't want to look at those windmills. I want to look south.
I wonder if you can have Chris Bowen up to the housewarming.
That's right.
Swindle factory minerals. We can put them on the front lawn like gnomes.
But seriously as well. Now, I just want to quickly play you a clip by Gina Reinhardt speaking at the IPA this week, where she calls for a Northern Territory economic zone and, interestingly, moving the Australian Defence Forces, the bureaucracy and the soldiers out of Canberra and up to the north where they are needed. Have a listen to this speech from the other evening.
We should be creating special economic zones, i.e. significantly less government take and tax zones, making investment welcome. There are more than 8,000 such economic zones which operate very successfully around the world, but sadly not in Australia.
Surely this is coalition gift. Northern Territory Economic Zone, great for Indigenous Australia, get mining there, get all these things, agriculture, get it all happening up there. The rest of the world has economic zones. Get rid of red tape, green tape, get rid of black tape. It's got to be coalition heartland stuff.
We already, look, obviously the sentiment I agree with 100%. For my part, we don't even have the third seal road across Australia. I remember trying to get money, about $1.4, $1.5 billion to seal the third. Australia. We don't have 3 sealed roads across our country. It is insane. And sealing further roads, getting our dams in place, getting the infrastructure in place, and inspiring the wider growth of Australia is in our interest. In a time where it is so precarious, the world is so precarious, where we have to become as powerful as possible, as quickly as possible. You do not have to worry about a war against the weather. You're not going to win it, you're not going to lose it, and nobody in your family has died from it. You haven't lost your super, right?
Yeah.
But if we lose a war against a totalitarian regime, your house, your children, your super, your future, your kids, your nation is gone. Is gone. And we're in this Peter Pan land of garbage, and that's what really frustrates me. All these things to make us strong is what we should be doing now. You cannot do it when the time arrives. It is too late. We have now a US aircraft carriers sitting out in the eastern Mediterranean, the Red Sea. You've got the Ukraine. You've got China that's barging into Filipino boats. They've been blockading. They're doing a military exercise to blockade Taiwan. And we are building swindle factories. It's just mind-blowing. It's just the time this epiphany arrives, and I believe the Australian people are arriving at it, is the time the politics in this nation will cataclysmically change, I hope for the better, so that we're prepared for what is coming our way.
Barnaby Joyce, always great to have you here on Outsiders, and absolutely we need that change of government, and we need some strong commitments from the coalition that people can get behind, like you did with the Voice, Nuclear and so on. Great to chat to you as always. Barnaby Joyce there.